Today we will discuss the human heart's anatomy. So human heart consists of 4 chambers, 2 atria and 2 ventricles. So let's draw the lower chambers. This is the right ventricle and this is the left ventricle. Both are separated by a septum. So right and left ventricle surrounded by a muscular wall, that is the myocardium. So this is the left ventricle and this is the right ventricle. So this is the myocardium, the muscle layer of heart. Myo means the muscle and the cardium means the heart. This myocardium is found in the wall of all 4 chambers of the heart, though it is thicker in the ventricles and thin in the atria. On the outer surface of the myocardium is the pericardium and the inside is lined by the endocardium. This muscular wall contracts and relaxes involuntarily and is responsible for keeping the heart pumping blood. So this is the left ventricle, and from left ventricle the blood goes into your whole body. So there must be some vessel through which the blood is carried out of the left chamber of the heart into your body. So there is a big sized artery, there is aorta. So this is the aorta. So blood from the left ventricle, that is oxygenated blood, is carried through aorta and it will supply your whole body. It is oxygenated blood. And the right side of the heart, the right ventricle, the blood goes from an artery into the lungs for oxygenation. This is the pulmonary artery, which carries deoxygenated blood to your lungs for oxygenation. So this is the pulmonary artery. So from the left ventricle, the blood goes through the pulmonary artery into the lungs for oxygenation. I have made these arrows to make it more easy to understand the flow of blood through the heart. After that, both vessels where they start from the ventricle, they have a valve in it. So on left side there is aortic valve at the opening of aorta, and on the right side there is pulmonary valve where the pulmonary artery starts. After that we will talk about the other 2 chambers, that are the atria. So there is a right atrium above the right ventricle and left atrium above the left ventricles. So both are connected by the valves with the lower chambers, both upper chambers. This is right atrium, left atrium. So from the right atrium, blood goes into the right ventricle by passing through a valve. On each side there is a valve from the atrium to the ventricle. On left side it is mitral valve that connects the left atrium and left ventricle, and on right side it is tricuspid valve that connects the right atrium with the right ventricle. So blood flows from the right atrium to right ventricle through tricuspid valve, and then it goes into the pulmonary artery for the oxygenation into the lungs. From the lungs, the blood comes with the help of 4 pulmonary veins that opens into the left atrium, and this oxygenated blood is basically then pushed from the atrium into the left ventricle. So on right side, in the right atrium, there is opening of superior vena cava that carries blood, deoxygenated blood from your upper part of the body, and the inferior vena cava that carries your blood from lower body parts. This is deoxygenated blood. So on the right side of the heart, there is basically deoxygenated blood from all of your body through superior and inferior vena cava. It comes into the right atrium. This is the orifice of coronary sinus that drains into right atrium. It basically draining the deoxygenated blood from myocardium through coronary sinus into right atrium. So let's discuss the flow of blood from the whole heart. So from superior and inferior vena cava, the blood comes into right atrium. When the right atrium contract, the blood is pushed into right ventricle through the tricuspid valve. Then the pulmonary valve open and the blood is pushed into pulmonary artery and then to the lungs for the oxygenation. So from the lungs, the oxygenation is done and the oxygenated blood comes back from the pulmonary veins that open into the left atrium, and then the left atrium contract and the blood flows through mitral valve into the left ventricle, and when the left ventricle contract, the aortic valve opens and the blood is pushed into the aorta, and from aorta it supplies whole body. So let's just color it our diagram. So on the right side it is deoxygenated blood. So when the right side contracts, the blood goes into the lungs for oxygenation, and after oxygenation, oxygenated blood comes into the left side of the heart, and from the left side of the heart, when it contracts, the blood is pushed from your major vessel aorta into your whole body. So this is the basic mechanism of heart anatomy and function. So this video is for the basic structure of the heart. It is much more complicated, so you can easily learn the basics from this, but there are many other things that are also necessary to learn. So thanks for watching my video.